it's such an interesting feeling being being medicated for ADHD, which, today I took 5 milligrams of dexamphetamine, and it sounds like such a brutal thing. Like, amphetamines, oh no, wow, buzzed, but for me, because I was diagnosed with this neurological condition, ADHD, lack of executive functioning in the frontal lobe, it makes sense apparently, right? But you only really know until you try, I guess, certain things. One being stimulant medication, in this case dexamphetamine, and it's just such an interesting feeling because I feel so, and it's not what you'd think, but I feel so much more in love with the idea of being with friends, for instance, being with family members, being with other people. I'm attracted to that, as opposed to before I would be more attracted to the idea of kind of um that's my dad. He's also
What?
he also, it's probably where I got it from, to tell you the truth. The ADHD, it's a genetics, apparently, is what gives it to you. It's a genetic neurological kind of condition. But the point is that it's an interesting thing, because I wouldn't have thought, you know, before, that I'd feel the way I feel, but I feel on this medication, for what it's worth, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not trying to give you any, you should always kind of make your own decision, but it's interesting because I feel so much less attracted to going out and smoking weed or drinking alcohol or these other kind of addictive, let's say, self-medicating, if you will, these other kind of pulls that pull you into this dopamine kind of fix that, we all do get pulled into to certain extents, but apparently people with ADHD actually they're a little bit more prone to addiction because they get apparently more dopamine from the experience, whatever it might be, whatever it might be that you go to. But yeah, it's interesting because I feel, like today I took a little 5 milligram dexamphetamine, and just the thought of later on I'm going to my friend's birthday. Yesterday I didn't take it, right? For instance, the dexamphetamine, or as they're kind of widely known as Dexies here in West Australia. Yesterday I felt like I wanted to see my friends to smoke weed. That's kind of like what almost the main drive was. Even though I like hanging out with people, I'm quite extroverted, and I like that, of course, but it was almost like the main mission was to get high. Whereas now, my thought about later going to meet my friends is to really hold space for them in a way, like be there with them and listen to them, and the joy of that, um, yeah, which is quite interesting, um, and again, we wouldn't really think of something that has amphetamines in the name, speed, wow, as being something that would bring that, let's say, for lack of a better, word, love. You wouldn't really think that that brings more engagement with, uh, you know, um, on the outset, you wouldn't think that it brings this kind of love for people, um, but in my, from what I've felt, it really does. Um, and again, this isn't, speak to your GP, speak to your you know, do your research, and you know, don't just because I've said this, don't be like, yeah, I want it, da, da, whatever, you know. But from you know, from my from what I felt, it really it's interesting, you know. It feels good, feels healthier for me personally. Um, yeah, so maybe hopefully that helps someone, and I think it's always good to talk to other people and listen to other people who maybe suffer from the same kind of thing, and the ways that we kind of ways we all have to solve it. And yeah, it's just a thought. But yeah, hope that helps.